we should be going pretty good. Keith, Tam, got all that? Mr. Tass, what's going on? Adapt. MT Coffee Girl, cool beans. Craig, what's going on? Michelle, live and live. So there we go. That's for a simple, safe. I know you used to saying, all right, let's see what stock commit. Sorry, I'm not looking for capital. I invest in dividend stocks. 2 decades, that's 24x. Sorry, don't look on Warner. Now, I know I probably should know it, but I don't. Okay, I don't buy options, I sell options. Option seller, not an option buyer. Okay, 80% of all options expire worthless, so why would I want to buy them? All right, Jack, what's going on? Mascot, good evening, Mascot. South Eva Calava, Maverick, good evening. Cagdala. Michael Lazowski. Hey, Grandpa, thank you. Can you say want a cookie? All right, that's disturbing. Rocco, what's happening? I am. Okay, Beachfront, SPSX, XS, I spelled it wrong. Well, alrighty then. What a covered call would look like on it. See, anytime I look at it, down, up, down. Okay, a year ago we're at $9. The high is right around 10.55, and the bottom is at 4.49. That's a 50% drop from here to here. Well, if you buy something and you're a little uncomfortable with 50%, you probably... Okay, Ivana, how are you? Dinosaur. Oh, wow. Love it. You can't come up with something better than that? All righty. Yep. There is options on it. Yeah, I'm well aware it is. Thoughts on Chef? We'll take a look at Chef in a little bit. XRP. I buy options on Monday, sell on Wednesday when market opens, as long as I do my Drummond geometry strategy. Alrighty then. That's stocks that have been around for a very long time, and Planet Labs is relatively new, from what I understand. But SPXS. All right, now I'm only going to say no because of the premiums right here. 40.50 is going for 7 cents. Okay, fine, but the very next one is 0, and this one is 0 also. All right, somebody wants to take a look. Jeremy wants to take a look at Chef. CHEF. I don't do monthly options. Months of the year, which means, yeah, Beachfront. I hear what you're saying. You can say it as many times as you like. SP. Okay, so I want to see how consistent profitable this company is. Okay, does it make sense? I want to look at hold on, 2 days, 20 years, not 7. But anyway, let's take a look at the numbers. See what it looks like. 29 to 48. Well, good. 40. That's good. 2. Because it looks like it doubles, and then it doubles again, and then it gets cut in half. 55. 56. That's backwards. 37. That's 20. That's backwards. Exchange trade. I call it an electronically traded. That's 2. It jumps to 75. Okay, fine. Going down, down, down. Yeah, no, thank you. Years of dividends. No. Terribly sorry. Things only. The low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Up, down, sideways, down, and then up. It kind of does something weird. Okay, 30 days ago, we're here at 42. We jump up to 44, drop all the way down to 40.75. Well, more than likely, this one will fill eventually. Means the stock is going to come back down. But yeah, look at the volume. Big volume. That's the blue lines. The blue lines in the back is the volume. These little candles. These little candles. Now, does it look like it's going to continue to go up? Well, it could. Do you like Verizon? Now, that's a big question. Do you like Verizon? Yes or no question. Do you like Verizon at 42.49? Well, look what the 42.50s are going for. 42.50s are going for 37 cents. That's not even 1%. So as much as you may like Verizon, see this little opportunity here, the numbers don't look that good. So I'm going to say no to Verizon for this week. Next. Yeah, Beachfront. I know it's not a company, it's an ETF. But if you look at it this way, even though it's an ETF, there's one person that runs it. And that person answers to someone who answers to someone who has people underneath them that does it. It's structured just like a company, but it's given to the computer. So the computer does all the trading for you. There is only one nation, radar person, a professional trader, mindset, please explain. To be a professional trader it depends on how you look at it. You know, some people consider a professional trader someone who just trades and gets their money from at least 4 trades a day to be a professional trader, based on what the IRS says, 4 trades a day. Alrighty? But it all depends on how you look at it. You still believe in Macy's. All right, Big Daddy, look at this. Sideways, up, down, sideways, up. We're at 12.21. What does the 12.50s look like? The 12.50s look like 7 cents to 12 cents. Yeah. Not this week. No, now I do own some Macy's. I've owned Macy's for a long time because it gives me a nice premium every single week. And then every 90 days it gives me a dividend. So, yeah, the numbers don't look that great today. Look at it. The 12.30, the 12.50, 7 cents. Yeah, that don't look good at all. Next week, what does next week's look like? Next week, 12.50 is going for 23 to 26. So next week's, if I buy it tomorrow morning, I'd sell next week's. I wouldn't even bother this week's. Because this week you give 7 cents, next week you're getting 23. Well, it's almost 2% for next week's. Well, that one makes more sense than this week's. It's weird. The numbers they are what they are. All right, Jeremy, you're welcome. All right, what else do we have? What the heck, GMG? I know someone's probably out there saying, well, everybody knows what GMG is. No, PLTY. PLTY. Oh, yield max, PLTR. Yeah, that's going to be a no. Now, the reason why PLTY is a no is monthly. I don't do monthly. There's only 12 months in a year, which means I'm only getting 12 extra checks a year. Think about it. Why would I want to get 12 when I can get 52? Because 12, if I get 1 to 2% every week with every option trade, 1 to 2%. But if I'm getting 1 to 2% with every option trade, weekly would be 50. That's where the stock is going to be in the next 30 days. Yeah, 5 days is hard enough. 30 days, yeah, no thank you. I don't want to sit in front of my computer all day. I don't. I have no idea what that means. I'm in 5th place. Okay. Hello, heat is this about? Okay. Hertz is still offering like 3 to 4% for this week, but at the high of the month. All right, now Mark, I let go of my Hertz last week because it jumped so much over the past couple of weeks. It just didn't make any sense to hold on to it anymore. HTZ. See, I had Hertz way down here, and it just kept going up and up and up and up. Well, at some point, it doesn't make sense to hold on to it anymore. Because when you're trying to roll it forward into another week, then it's going to be, no. Yeah, no. But, just shoots up, now it's pulling back. I'm going to say another 2 weeks, and I'll take a look at Hertz again. Alrighty. Mobile, XOM, love me some XOM. Motion, down, up, down, up. Well, let's take a closer look. 110. But we're losing 12. Now we're into the 90 area. Off there, you're still not making 1% a week. Okay, here's your last 30 days. Your 30-day high, she drops. Finds a bottom here, turns around, shoots back up again. Well, what happens? When you go from 107 to 116, that's a $9 increase, right on 8%. So it went up 8%. Profit is higher than it was yesterday or Friday. So could today be the first step going back to the after? Because that's all they do. They go down, and then they go up, and then they go down, and it turns around and then goes back up again. Is today the turning point for ExxonMobil to turn around and go up? Well, the number this week doesn't look like 1%, but next week looks like you can get 2%. Close. But, you got to ask that question. Do I like ExxonMobil? Okay, I got 5 simple rules. Rule number 1, never buy something you don't want to hold on to. That means if you're going to buy something, buy it with the intention of holding it long term. Now, just in case it hits a target, your exit target, take the profit. Because, profits add up every single week. So if I'm buying it at 108, right, and I'm selling somebody the right to buy it from me at 108, well, I'm picking up $1.07. Not quite 1%, but still cash flow. Next. Can you check Coca-Cola? Hold on. Practice. What's a good way to know absolutely nothing about you? What I'm looking to gain 1 to 2% every single week. I'm not quite sure how you want to do it. But for me, I like to buy a stock right here at the bottom, and it'll turn around and go back up again. Well, that's the part where I want to jump in. I'll turn around. At the turnaround, I want to jump in, sell a covered call because it's safe, simple, and predictable. And I don't really have to worry about the stock going up because stocks only go 3 directions. Up, down, and then we call it nowhere or flat. So 2 out of 3. If I can get 2 out of 3, great. So if she goes up, I'm good. If she stays exactly where she is, I'm good. If she goes down, then I need to, adjust a few things. That's why I wait for the profit taking, find the bottom, turn around, go back up again. Well, that's what I'm waiting for. Well, ExxonMobil's right at that point. But is it paying enough? Here it's saying it's not. So, next. And I can tell you I don't do Maine. I don't do monthlies. Okay? 15 August, 19 September. Flow from Maine. Yeah, I don't do that. That's too much effort for me. Now, does it work? Yeah, it works. It works for a lot of people. It's just not what I want to do. Okay, I'm retired. I don't want another job sitting in front of the computer. Trav, I hopped some PayPal calls today. Okay, PYPL. I don't do PayPal. Okay, only because PayPal has no dividends, which means they're not sharing their profits. But look at the motion, though. Okay, 6. Well, I would prefer to do next week's rather than this week's. Because if I do this week's, I'm only picking up 86, which is a little over 1%. But 75, that's close to 3%. Well, you have to look at the motion. Where is it going? Okay, closer to this 30-day bottom. Look at this. That is a nice direction right there. If, of course, you like PayPal. Now, PayPal doesn't have any dividends, but everything. Okay, but do you like it? And do you like it at 75? Lumina wants to take a look at Ford. Now, we looked at Ford this morning, and it just didn't look that good. Okay? Whoa, I gotta chop that up a little bit. Hold that thought. Way up there, over 14. Down, sideways. Okay, well, it's at 11:30. The 11.50 going for 9 cents for this week. Next week's 11.50s are going for 31. Again, next week is a better trade than this week. Not weird? So let's take a look at the numbers. Last 30 days. One more time. Around 10:40. Shoots up, comes back, and now she's turning. Is tomorrow going to be higher? I like 2 days the upside. Tomorrow it could be higher, which would mean Wednesday for it is 2.5%. Next week, DCBEN. Monthly. 15 August, 19 September, 17 October. Yeah, I don't do monthlies. They just don't pay the same. No. JMD, it is his account. No, he's only started at whatever. So starting with just $500, you might want to look at something called dividend capturing. That's where you buy the stock just before the dividend date. Okay, as it goes. Don't look for the high. Just look for the. Alrighty. We all know who Caterpillar is, right? That's the dividend. For the dividend date when I'm doing a coverage. Look at the. Okay, right? That was only 150. It was only $1. Remember I told you the 7th. The opening price was $398.06. Now remember the dividend was only $1.51. Well, $398 plus $1.01, which is the dividend you're looking for. Well, that's $398 was $398. That didn't work. So we're looking for $399.50. So hold on. So nope, it didn't hit it. Day 2 didn't hit. Day 3 hits a high at 403. So yeah, if I jump, so if I'd be out with my profit. Lows. So low the 7th. So let's take a look at lows on the 7th. LOW. Dividend the 7th, it opened up at dividend was $1.20 for it. It looks like it's gonna be this day right here. So could be AOS to it. The right time. So I always buy it here just before they pay out the dividend to the price that you just paid for it. That's your because I can do what is called a trigger trade. Okay, add the $1.20 into it, and that's my exit. So I'm buying and selling at the exact same time. Fast as I trade average, hold it with my profit. What's my profit? On a Monday, that made sense. Look at some Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. All right, so we got the high and the low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Up, down, up, down, up. Coca-Cola. Well, let's take a deeper look at some of the couple of months. Okay, zoom in a little bit closer to see exactly bottom. And then we have a second 30-day bottom last Wednesday. So 30 days ago and last Wednesday, the same 30-day bottom, right around 68.6 of last month. Dropped this to covered stock, but they do have a 7 market order. 100, that's the week, right? These 2 trades to open the $7,011. Going to be 6,000. 1.5% every per year. And we're talking something like that. Okay, what do we have? Is Liam Wellington. You were pointing wrong way. Let's go this way. Well, it's on there. Screen behind me. If you're on one of most screen TV, righty, because your YouTube is showing pre. Okay, let's get rid of this. Jeff, do you believe it's a sound strategy to mostly go long when price action VWAP? Well, that's all interesting, and I'm sure it works out just fine. However, one day I said, Daddy, what are you doing? Can you teach me? Okay, so how do you teach a 9-year-old to invest in stocks when most adults don't understand? Number 2, to lose, because we all know one of those things. Caleb, how it works, 4-year-old. So there's 5. Rule number 1, feel good. Still doing the same thing. Invest in our company. If you invest in a company, 10,263, and those are companies that are now different channels. Company that's not weak, but let me show you why. You ready? A year 5, and she shoots up again, and for the last week and a half, it's been pulling back. Well, let's zoom in a little closer. Week and a half, it's been pulling back. Well, let's zoom in a little closer. You can actually see it. You can actually see it. A week and a half. Okay, down. It's a new week and a half. Okay, down. It's a new bottom. I'm going to be looking at new bottom. I'm going to be looking at. It's going to hit it this week. Yeah, it's going to hit it this week. That's it. What else do ELFP? ELFP. Interesting. Never heard of it. All right. All right. And that consistently increases. And there it is. ELF. Imagine that. There are no dividends in the selected time period, which means no. That's a no dividends. No, thank you. No. That's a no dividends. No, thank you. So, hey, thank you. That's why Court can trading Merck for the past 2 weeks. Cool beans. All right. Well, how many times do you option? I would say at least twice a month. Other than that, I just roll them over. Oh, E. Van Devon. Gooch Garden. Okay. Arthur. What else do we have here? Momentum trading. Ian, kinda, yes, kinda, no. What is it about? Momentum trading. Ian, kinda, yes, kinda, no. What is it about? Kyle, this is about investing in dividends. Kyle, this is about investing in dividend stocks for weekly cash flow, looking for a simple, safe, predictable, consistent 1% per week. It's about 50% per year. It's about 50% per year. And it does take 5 or 10 minutes to work that way. Josh, Thomas, Els, Maxito, how are you doing today? All right, so flat for however, all right, whatever. Yosef, traders, most traditional traders are getting replaced by quants. I don't know why people are still hyped on trading. Gold will fall 1,000 an ounce. Okay, got Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, you got to get a symbol. Start date 18. Do you think in the future that by that the way some of these companies I look at, I invest in, are over 100 years old? Coca-Cola's been around for 140 years. They're over 100 years old that are consistently profitable and consistently increase their dividends. Well, why not? Your 3 year accounts have stocks tied up because the price dropped so far out of the money that they are not profitable. Yeah, take a look. We're going to look at weekly five. All right. Account 3. Now let's go all the way back to the beginning of the year. That would be the question. Hopefully this answers it for you. Now, week 1, first quarter of the year, December to January 3rd. That was the first one. So, account 1, 6.19%. So week 2, 3, 4.8, 3.6, 1.8. Week 4, 2.3, 2.0. Okay, I've been doing this for a very long time. Yeah, some stocks go up, some stocks go down. It's always a good idea to make sure you're jumping in at the right time. Gary, Broker Talk Show, what's going on? Cache Wilder, Jamal Jones, Daryl, doing it. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. So every single week so far this year. I think 3-4 weeks I didn't hit 1%. Four times out of 3 accounts that I share with you. Now I have 7 accounts, but I only shared 3 of the share. Can't sit down too much. All right, don't do XRP. And on Friday afternoon, would Ford be best at 11 or 11.50? Okay, so the 11.50 for this week is 9 cents. Not quite 1%. 9 to 10. But next week, the 11.50s are going for 33 Ford. I would do Ford. Get that nice 2%. Why not? Google. In Google, you'll take a look at and then just hit go. And you get a whole bunch of them. Something that tells what the EX job is. I'm not quite sure I understand that one. James knows covered calls. Thank you, Jose. Ava, how much cash do I need to do what you do? To get started and to buy, and on average, $50 or more. Ava, we're different. We all have a different amount of money to start with. We all have a different set of assets at our disposal. I have no idea how old you are. I have no idea what it is you're looking for. I always tell people every night, okay, if you want to have a conversation, I love to have a conversation. 15 to 20,000 people every single night. I don't do Telegram. I pick the phone like it was originally intended. I love chatting. Okay? Let's keep on going. Okay. No, Baidu is not on my list. Okay, here's where it was. Look at it's doing. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, up. What's going on here? Let's zoom into that. A 142 for this week. Next week, 226. So it'd be better to do this week and then do another one next week. Okay, well, let's see what it looks like. Well, the year is 116, and that was in the beginning of October. Well, bottomed out in the second week, 74, 71. Well, look at where we are now. There you go. So here's the bottom right here to the upside. Let's see what a covered call for Baidu looks like. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's change this to covered call, and let's do the 80%. Why not? Baidu 100, that's the weekly option. They have from tomorrow morning to Friday afternoon when the option expires. Now, options expire on Saturday, but after 3:59 p.m., there's nothing you can do. So, in effect, it's tomorrow morning until 3:59. All right, so my maximum profit, 140. It's going to cost 8,700. Let's see what kind of rate of return that is. $140 is the profit. Anytime you're finding your rate of return, you got to take the profit and you divide it by what the investment was. So 140 is the profit, and we're going to divide it by 87. Well, think about it. 1.6% every single week is over 80% per year. What else do we got? Ashok, thank you. You're welcome. Mercer, good evening. Aaron, Think or Swim. That's offered through Charles Schwab. Ill Will, good evening, and how are you today? All right, here, PLTR. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. Put PLTR rate. PLTR. Wasn't that quick? It should take 3 to 4 seconds to take a look at a chart. 3 to 4 seconds. High, low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Up. Yeah, no. Okay, here's the bottom here. At Baidu. XY. Let's do an EX dividend date. See if you understand this. Is the announcement date. This year, it was a wonderful year. And as an number one is the announcement date. That's when the company says, this is what we made. This is what you're going to get when you're going to get it. Date number 2. So if you want to collect represented by these little green dots on the calendar, if you want to collect any of those, you got to buy it before that little green dot. And yes, EX Dividend calendars are free. Just go to Google EX Dividend calendar. It will pop up. Date number 3 is known as the date of record. Simply put, if you own the stock on the date of record, you're not state. Do you still place a Julia? Baidu, Palantir, blah blah blah. The world you want to live in, girl. How? Julia. Simple name. Hey, that means I can only get. No. That's a no. Let's keep on going. What other questions do we have? World you want to live in, girl. Would you mind? Yeah. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Before we zoom in, do the numbers work? It's a yes/no question. It's really not that difficult. 92, 59. But next week's 59 is going for 111 weeks. A year ago was the top, and that was down, up. Okay, looks like it's going up, but in actuality, it's a very slow, slight downward. Okay, you can see the pattern here: up, down, up, down, up, down. Now she's going back up again. How far up is it going to go? I don't know. Well, that's something you need to ask yourself. At what point do you feel comfortable jumping in? All right. That being said, 59. The 59s are going for that. Okay. Looks interesting. What else do we get? Mercer Show. Ford. There you go. Okay. High, low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Down, up. Okay, what are we doing? Where's it going next? Well, look at the bottom here. It's definitely going to the upside, but the high is way up here over 14. So let's zoom in a little closer to get a better idea of where do we think it's going next. And for that, I need my glasses. All right, so 30 days ago with Ford, here we are, 1040. That's 30 days ago. That's a month ago. Drop. Okay, from there she shoots up. But look at the shoot up from 1040 to 12. Or 60 on a $10 stock. Well, that's over 10%. That's a 10% increase. Well, yeah, it's going to have profit taking. So you get your profit on one for the same price I just paid for it. So if I'm paying $11.35, I'm going to sell it to someone for $11.50 for next week. Pick up 31 cents. That's just shy of 3%. No, 3% for 2 weeks, that's a 1.5% a week. Well, 1.5% a week for the year, well, that's over 60-70% for the year, if you're okay with that. But then there's a whole bunch of questions you need to ask yourself. Question number 1 is, does it make sense? And question number 2, do I like this company? Do I like this company at this price? Am I willing to buy it and never sell it at a loss? Do a covered call every week, every 2 weeks, and bring in extra cash flow? Well, those are all valid questions that you need to ask yourself before you jump into anything. Did last week. From last week, I had prep for the barbecue. That was fun. Anyway, how many trades are you in on Mondays? Well, I get 7 accounts, and each account has roughly around 7 positions. So 7 times 7, 49, 50. About 50 different positions through 7 different accounts. Why? Okay, so yes. Doing work. How are you this evening? Okay. reason why I'm looking at this data for XRP, even though I know it's going to be a no because I wants to take a look at it. So here it is right here. Okay, so here's XRP, $3.55 a share. Okay, I want to look at the check this out. XRP, there are no dividends at this selected dividend and thing for weekly dividend. They both have that word dividend in it. When I say I invest in companies that have 2 decades, Let's take a look. Down sideways. We're at 926. The 950s are going 10. Next week they're going for 25. Well, that's 2.5%. Okay. Well, that being said, it's going to be a no this week because look at this right. Okay, 30 days ago, here we are. Shoot up. Now she's pulling back. We're looking for the bottom. Not here. Okay, this keeps going down. Now, I don't try to find the bottom. I don't. Let the bottom find itself. What does that mean? Well, eventually it's going to hit the bottom, turn around, and go back up again. Because stocks only do 2 things. They go down until they're done. When they're done going down, they will turn around and go back up again. And they will keep going up until they're done. That's such a weird concept, don't you think? It goes up until it's done, turns around, goes back down, over and over again. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, the chart will tell you when it is ready to stop and turn, go the other way. It doesn't have any dividend, so no and no. All right? Mason, at least 10,000 I heard. It's a good while ago. And I said, I apologize, I did not update my website this week. I haven't updated in the last couple of weeks, which that's my own fault. Okay, I'm getting used to doing that. Chat. Okay. Why do you invite me to a Zoom you don't monitor? Eric, I'm right here. All you have to do is ask. Yeah, Eric, you're here. If you have a question, unmute yourself and just ask. All right? Because I got 7 other cameras going and 7 other conversations going. So I can swim, clear my account, do out, system error. So I'm starting over. Nothing wrong with that. Mark that. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, Eric, just unmute yourself. Anytime you guys have any questions over here, just unmute yourself and ask.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. What do you got?
Yeah, okay. I feel like that's going to run. I don't like KS.
What the heck? Oh, KS. Oh, Coles.
Yeah. There's also strategy or addition.
Okay, now I understand exactly. I try to explain it this way. You can have your cake, but you can't eat it. Or you can't have a cake, but you can eat it. You can have your cake, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. Okay, so you decide, what do you want? Do you want a little appreciation? Now, I like Kohl's because it gives me a nice rate of return every single week. Now, this week it gave me a nice rate of return. Well, great. Well, I will roll it into next week, and they will give me another nice return. And I will hold on to it until it gets to a point where I can't profit anymore off of it. But you are kind of right. You know, it was a nice run-up, and it would have been nice to get the run-up rather than just the premium. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Can you explain what a bull is?
A what?
Hubbard Cole with a bull, or something like that. Bull. I'm not 100% sure what that is.
I have no idea what that is either.
Oh, okay. I'll ask my AI.
Yeah, a bull. Never heard of that one.
Thank you.
Mark, I got Kohl's at $9.90 this morning. I was waiting for it to go back down, but it never happened. So I just triggered it because of the fat premium. Well, that sounds right. El Pablo, ¿qué pasa, amigo? ¿Cómo está? Is Anduril legit? Okay, Gavin, I have no idea what that means. Iron Mountain, isn't that a document disposal company? Well, Iron Mountain also makes coffee. I find it very funny that some dude, Dividend Stock Talk, is actually following me. I got like 30. That's funny. COO. Mindy wants to take a look at COO. COO. When I tell you guys September, 21 November, those are months of the year. They just doesn't work. COP. Yes. Let's do COP. COP. She shot up. Now she's pulling back. It's slowing down right here. Okay, this is the bottom here. Friday was higher, today was lower, so not quite turning to go up, just kind of like going, channeling. Animal hangovers. Jupiter Moon, ETH prediction till December. Sorry. Fresh, Flash. How do you get that calendar on Think or Swim? All right, Flash. You see the top cards, blah, 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 blah. Go to Marketplace. Okay? You bring your cursor right on top of Marketplace. Okay? A little drop-down window pops up. Quotes, alerts, visualize, financing rates, calendar. Okay, click on. La 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 la. Just call me Steph. Hey, all right, girl you want to live in, girl. All right, world you want to live in, girl. Doug. Wow, I stumbled across this and I have learned so much already. Thank you. Doug Wood, how are you this evening? It wasn't for me. Okay, thank you. I wanted Altria. Yeah, we looked at Altria. That was a no also. How do you figure 1% per week? Okay, user 4322514768. I'm going to call you Fred. All right? Is that okay? I don't know what your parents were thinking calling you 432251476895. That's a long number. Why don't we just call you Fred? So how do you figure 1% per week? That's an interesting question. Let me think. Research. Go to Google, says, how long has the 10-minute trader been in business? I registered this name over 20 years ago. So anyway, let's take a look. How do you figure 1%? At the beginning of the year, account 1, account 2, account 3. Account 1 at the beginning of the year was 151,000. Account 2 was 143. Account 3, 114. So 1% of 104, about $1,500. Account 1, 151, or 1% is around $1,600. So that's what 1% is. So let's go back to here. Week number 8. Okay? Week 8. First quarter, February 7th to February 21st. Account 2, 2020, $3,549 are posted online. Here's the timestamp, what the trade was, how many, what stock, what the strike price was, what the profits were, so on and so forth. So for this year, account number 1. $800, 0.39%. That was probably the worst week I've done right there. 0.39. I only made $800 in that account that week. This account here, $1,100, 0.62, not quite 1%. Account number 3, $3,389. Well, that's 2.15. Okay, do I for this week? I haven't gotten that one yet. Week 15. Second week, second quarter, April 7th to April 11th. 5,700, 2.7. What? What you? Okay, I don't understand that at all.
What's happening is bringing evidence. I mean, very much the same way. From multiple Texas along the corridor of points to the original.
Sorry, Joe, I had to mute that. That was April 11th, 2.7, 3.3, whatever it happened. So do I make 1% every week? No, but I make more than 1% most weeks. Every once in a while, I think like 4 or 5 times I didn't hit 1%. I showed you a couple of them, but there's some more. 2%, 2.7, what is that? Oh, I haven't got one out yet. No, so I got to finish that one. Huh. Anyway, so they're all there. We already took a look at Altria. Jojo, are there any stocks under $10 that could do this strategy? I understand they wouldn't be king. Not that. What? So let's take a look at. Who said that? Jojo. Take a look, Jojo. $1.06, $1.12, $1.13, $1.30. This. 413, so on and so forth. All these stocks here have weekly options. Now, I don't know if all of them that have weekly options. That's all I use. There we go. All right, next. Add by some Alcoa. Oh, nice. Let's take a look at this. High, low, where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Down 31. So let's take a look. The 31, 58 cents. That's just shy of 2%. That's for this week. Well, next week, 95. Well, that is 3%. So I would prefer to do next week 34, 65. High of the year, 48. Above the year, 21. That's more than 50%. If you're not ready for that kind of numbers, going from 48 down to 21, then you shouldn't be playing this game, because that's what these companies do. They go up and they go down. They go up and they go down. That's it. That's all. So here's the bottom here. Now she's coming up. Well, let's zoom in a little closer. What does that look like? The last 30 days, right there. Okay, so it doesn't look that appetizing anymore, does it? Here's your 30 days ago. Here's your 30-day bottom. She shot up, pulled back, shot up, pulled back. Here's the new bottom right there. 1, 2 days the upside. Third day, it went. It's not there anymore. Real time. Well, unfortunately, Doug, you can't watch real time because the market is not open at the moment. Okay, but Tippy, open. What the heck is open? O-P-E-N. O-P-E-N. No. Okay? No. Because if this thing was like 50 cents last week or last month, and now Flash, Hormel. Okay, Hormel, H-R-L. Dividend King, been around for over 100 years. Not this week. Maybe take a look. 30 days ago, shoots up, pulls back, here we are. Now, this is Hormel. They have 5 decades of increased profits. Okay, however, you just got to wait until it makes a turn around, go back up. 9, so we'll be looking at the 29s. Well, I like Hormel, I just don't like the options. Interesting. Now, 23.58. 23.50 is going for 40 cents. Hell yeah. Okay, here's your bottom here on Thursday. Friday's 1 day higher. Today was 1 day higher. Okay, definitely going up. So let's take a look. 23.50. Let's get rid of this. Let's change this to covered stock. And we're going to doing the 23 at the market. And here we buy one covered call, Harley-Davidson. H-O-G. All right, great. Maximum profit, 30 to return, that is. calculate 113 comes to a grand total of 1.59 or 1.6. Let me write that one down. Okay, so do you like Harley Davidson? Do I like Harley Davidson? Do I like it at this price? Am I okay with buying it and just keep doing covered calls every single week? It's an honest question. 10:30. Wow, 10:24. Let's keep on going. What else do we got? How much need to retire using wheel options? Okay, Ramfill Capital. Interesting name. Now, it's always going to depend on what kind of living do you like to do. Okay, if you have expensive taste, you're going to need more money. Okay, if you're rather frugal and don't need a lot, well, you need less money. So, Ramfill Capital, everyone is different. Okay, we all have our own goals, we all have our own dreams, we all have our own desires. We all have thresholds for pain, pleasure, and risk. All right, so let's keep on going. What do we have? I was wondering how much your 3 shared counts, stock, blah, blah, blah. How far out of the money they are before they're profitable anymore for your strategy. All right, Mike. Hopefully I answered that question. YouTube channel is displaying only broadcast. Oh, damn it. That's probably better now. Yeah, technology's not my thing. You know, I got 6 cameras. If I knew how to use the software properly, I wouldn't need 6 cameras. All right, so how much do you need to retire using this? Now, I'm comfortable where I am. Now, I'm comfortable getting 1% a week. If I didn't get 1% a week, I wouldn't be able to be retired. I'd have to continue working. And I'm not really LCID. LCID. Let's change this. Single. Oh, wow, it's only at $2.83. Interesting. Finance. Why? It makes it easier to do calculations. Now, Lucid doesn't have any dividends. Let me show you. Right? 282.
Yeah.
The closest strike price is going to be $3.
Right.
Okay. What percentage is 8 cents of $3? Well, it's just shot. It's just uncovered. Okay. What am I making here?
Right. It's harder. That's why. Yeah. Then you have to divide it out. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Next. What else do we got? I'm back. Bitcoin Bub. All right. Thoughts on LCID. Okay, so LCID right now. Only because look at this big gap up right here. Big, huge gap up. Have a new 30-day high up there. Now she's coming back down again. So LCID, Lucid, if you like it, maybe in a couple of weeks. James, plus it's digital currency. Okay, any thoughts on Intel? Curtis, let's take a look at Intel. Now, I do own some Intel. I believe I got some today. INTC. Okay, so you have your high way over there at 32. We have our bottom here at 18. What are we looking at on the numbers? 23.35. So the 23.50s are going for 80 cents. 23.50 is going for 80 cents a share. Well, that's well over 3%. If, of course, you like Intel. Hold on to that company. Well, let's take a look. Goes to high. And then she drops down to, so what is it, like 47, 48% drop? Okay, so the bottom is 1767. There's the bottom. Well, look at where we are now, 23.26. So from 17 to 23 is over $5. Well, five, there's going to be profit taking. But see where we are now, the last 30 days, right there. Take a look. Your 30-day bottom's here. Jumped up, pulled back. Jumped up, pulled back. 1, 2, 3 days to the upside. Well, that's what I'm looking for. Can it keep going up? Well, it's in like at 23.50. Right. Just one contract at the market. 2 open. Here we go. 5. That's this coming Friday. That's only 4 days away. Okay. The 23.50 call options. And I'm selling a covered call, which means I'm buying somebody the right to buy the shares from me at almost the exact same price I just paid for it. Well, why would I do that? Well, just because I'm making $98.50 per contract. Well, let's find out what that math is. So you get my calculator. If my profit's $98.50, okay, 0.3%. Well, 4.3% on a week for 1 week. Okay, if 1% a week is 50% for the year, 2% a week is 100% a year. Well, what is 4%? That's got to be at least 200% per year. I mean, think about it. That's a nice return. You looked at Hog. Yeah, we looked at Harley Davidson already. KMI. KMI. Kinder Morgan. Interesting. Let's take a look. High, low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Down, up, down, up, down. Well, that doesn't look very promising now, does it? 27.11. The 27 is going for 34. Well, that makes sense. Next week's 27 is going for 46. All right, well, look, gander. All right, a year ago, we're at 21.71. The bottom of the year, ooh, I remember 1972. Mrs. Topham, second grade teacher. I sat next to Betsy Garfield. Hi, Betsy. Anyway, and D.A. Galvin was right after her. Anyway, how much fun can you have in second grade? It was 22 to 31. 1972 to 31. That's 11. That's almost $12. $12 increase on a $20 stock. Well, that's more than 50% increase. So yeah, it pulls back, goes back up, pulls back again. So here we are here, the last 30 days. 30 days ago, we're at 27.75. We shoot up to 29.50, drop all the way back down to here, back up, back down. Not quite time to jump into Kinder Morgan. Okay? We looked up, we thought the bottom was Thursday. Friday was a higher day. Well, it looks like it could have been the bottom, but apparently not, because today she pulled back quite a bit. So Kinder Morgan may be later on during the week. What else does steel price mean on the option table? Okay, Jojo, I'm not going to get into that. That's Green Mountain. I have no idea what that means. All right. Alex, I'm in Kohl's right now. Would you recommend? I start looking on a Monday, okay, and I start rolling, not for this week, but for the following week. Well, if I'm going to roll it this week, I want it for, let's say, $20. I want my 20 cents, my 1%. Okay, well, it depends. What are they offering? Well, the market maker will make you what's called a GTC order, good till cancel. So if I put my rolling order in on a Monday, so if it fills, great, I don't have to worry about it. But I always put it in on Monday or a Tuesday. So if I'm not, paying attention for some strange reason, she shoots up and it gets filled, fine, I'll take it. So as long as the numbers work, you can do it anytime you want. Mary June, it's been a while. Still been keeping an eye out. Way to go. OS. Oh, the ups and down pattern. Oh, thank you. Into next week. Okay, got it. Rocket Barber. What's up, James? Love your streams. You are on point, my friend. Thank you. Okay, Curtis, we already did ignoring the other channels, so I'm going to be back over here in a second. Starbucks. SBUX. Ways up, down, up. Okay, what's going on here? 92.66. We're looking at the 93s. Well, the 93s are going for this week, 97. Next week's $3. That's 3%. That's a 1.5% week. This is only, see, this week it's 1. How much closer do you want to get to 93? 92, 93 is pretty close to 93. Now, a covered call is one of the safest trading strategies there is. It's simple, it's safe, it's predictable, it's consistent. I can do it every single week. I'm thinking just watch it and wait for it to go up. Sorry, that part of my life is done and over with. I'm at that part now where I need to make cash flow every single week. All right, so that's Starbuckies. Next, okay, we're going to go over to this channel over here, see what we have. Holy cow, 96 messages. You got to be kidding. Need to do what you do. Okay, started. Buy on average $50 or more per share. Ava, if you want, send me a number. We'll give a chat and we'll joining and not subscribing. Uh-oh. What do we have here? My local, then down, then up. MSTR. My local, MSTR, huh? MSTR. 426. Well, I'm going to say no, only because, check this, me personally, I'd wait at least 2 weeks for this thing to pull back before I jump in. Now, every once in a while, I do have to take a loss. I think I had 3 losses this year, which, if you think about it, it's not that bad. Alex, probably by looking at another strategy. There's lots of strategies out there. And started with $50. Yep. But would you enter next week's call on AA this week or wait? All right, Mindy, hold on. Let's take a look at it again. AA. No. Wasn't that quick, Mindy? Because, see, 30 days ago we're here. She jumped up, pulled back, jumped up again. Why would I want to get in now? I want to wait a week for it to pull back down again, because now it's almost at a 30-day high again, which I don't like 30-day highs. Okay, 30-day high is a time to sell, not to buy. Which stocks are good now? Amber, I don't do what everybody else does. I'm doing something totally different. Okay? I'm only looking for 1% every week. Now, stocks are predictable. They do the same things over and over and over again, year after year after year. So if you have a company that you're familiar with, that you know what it normally does throughout the year. See, stocks move for 2 reasons. That's it. Only 2 reasons. One is what's called a known reason. The other is called an unknown reason. Let me see if I can explain it to you. Okay? Now, certain stocks, we know why they move. And certain stocks, well, we have an idea, but we don't know why. Well, that's the unknown reason. Now, unknown reason can be a lawsuit coming out of nowhere. It could be an act of God. Hurricane, flood, tornado, blizzard, typhoon, tsunami, earthquake. Something that you can't plan for. That just happens. Okay? Now, on the other hand, we have what's called a known reason. Well, reasons that we know are coming that we can set our calendars to. Well, here's the thing. Earnings. Well, we know exactly when earnings are coming. Let's get this here. Let's just out of here. Okay, see these little purple and blue dots? Those are all earnings for all these companies that have 25 years or more of increased dividends. So these are all the earnings. Okay, Johnson, Coca-Cola, Chubb, Sherwin-Williams, General Dynamics, Dover, Ben Franklin, Colgate-Palmolive. You probably know almost a lot of these companies. Those are the earnings. They're actually in the calendar, which means I wrote a book 15 years ago. It's like how to get 10 to 20 checks per month like clockwork. Earnings, dividends, right there on the calendar. It tells you when they're going to have them. So a dividend, well, those are up in green. Okay? Earnings, those are in blue and purple. I know when they're going to happen. So what I don't know is how does the stock react to the earnings? How does the stocks react to the dividends? I got questions over here. AA on a tier. All right, Eric. Would you roll AA into next week since it's 1% now? Now, if I already own it, yes, I would. Okay, would I jump into it? No, not at this moment in time. Okay, so we already looked at Intel. All right. So as I was saying, we have known reasons and we have unknown reasons. Okay, so depending on where you get your information, okay, what do I want to jump into? The current. Uh-oh. Alex wants to take a look at AT, and T. There we go. I don't know. Okay, what does that look like it's doing next? Now, I like the last 30 days because the last 30 days gives me a good idea of what can I expect next. All right, well, take a look. 30-day high, 30-day bottom. Well, now she's starting to go back up again. Okay, well, we're at 27.38. What does the 27.50 look like? Well, this week's 27.50 is 49. Well, that's almost 2%. Well, next week's 27.50 is 58. Yeah, I'd do this week's first and then do next week's next week. But that's AT&T. So you get to ask those same questions. Do I like AT&T? Does it make sense to me? Well, the 30-day high is at 29.25. We're currently at 26.75. Or sorry, 27.38. So you have to ask yourself a lot of questions. And the most important one is, does it make sense? Then you're going to ask, do I like this certain company? You got to figure out what kind of a trader are you? Okay, what do you want to do? Okay, now I'm just looking for cash flow on a weekly basis. And everything has to be, just right and do it by the numbers. Because it was originally created for a 9-year-old, so it had to be easy. All right, so what do we got left? We got like 15 minutes left. What do we have for questions? All right, nothing on Instagram, nothing over there. All right, what do we have here? Lily, good evening. Durant, what's happening? Mike Sweeney. So we know how to start the covered call, but what do we need to do to collect that premium? Well, that's basically it. You buy the stock and you sell somebody the rights to buy it from you through one or two of them. Or you can always join the morning trading group and Zugma options, K-View. Sweet Den doing great. Wait, interesting. 22.13. Look at the uptrend we're in the moment. I don't know. Think about it. Can it continue going up? Yes, it can. But is it going to? Don't know. We got like 12 minutes left. The 22.13s, well, the 22.50 is worthless, and next week's worthless. So the numbers just don't work. Okay, so look at the numbers. What am I buying it for? Well, currently it's at 22.13. Well, if I do the 22s for this week, that doesn't make any sense. The 2250s don't make any sense. So the numbers just interesting. Okay, the high, the low, where was it? Where's it? Look at the motion. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Now she's going back up again. Zoom in right here. Take this. Okay, it looks totally different on a 30-day chart. 2, 3. Okay. Now the 285s are 284.71. That's the current price. Okay, that's over 3%. Even the 287s are going for 7.55. The 290s are going for 6.40. The 292s are going for 5.55. Well, every single one of these premiums on IBM is looked to do. Can we look at MTB? Sweet Den, how are you doing today? MTB. No. Sorry, Den. MTB is a monthly. I don't do monthlies. Let's go back to IBM and walk through a couple of those trades. All right, right there. The 285s. Let's get rid of this. Let's go to covered call. Let's go to per share. One. I didn't mean to set it up that quick. One contract. There we go. Market order. There you go. Confirm and send. Here it is. By one covered call IBM 100s. Those are the weeklies. 25 July 25. That means the price 284.71. Then I'm turning around and selling someone the right, not the obligation, just the right to buy it from me at 285, which is right here. 874 per contract. Well, each contract is costing 27,000. So let's do the numbers. IBM 874 divided by 27,626. That's a grand total of 3.1%. Now we know 1% every week is 50% per year. Well, 3% every week, there's got to be at least 160% per year. So I multiply that by 52, because there's 52 weeks in a year. 164. Okay, I can deal with 164% for 1 year, but am I really going to get 3% every single week? It would be nice, but I've been doing this for a long time. Even I don't get 3% every single week, but it's nice to get it once in a while. Okay, next. How much are the fees to trade? All right, Animal, do you see this right here? Cost of trade, including commissions and fees. Well, here's the cost of the trade. The commission is 65 cents, and the fee is 1 penny. Right? That's the trade right there. Cost of the trade, 65. Tension, like you are talking underwater. Yeah, I heard that. And I don't know, is it the software or is it the microphone? But here's the thing. I got a brand new computer, so I got to switch everything from this computer over to the new computer and hope. Creative journey. Sweet Den, I got laid off. They downsized the house. Unfortunately, sometimes loyalty doesn't pay off. Sadly, hopefully you were doing well. I started my own business 2005, doing great business before I was born. Oh, yeah. Oh, not a great start. Last 3 years have been nice. Passive income now. Cool beans. Thank you, Sweet Den. Where I want to learn to get passive income. Why does Robinhood show current share price on IBM 286 and yours says 284? Is that normal? Mindy, change this back to that. We're going to go back to here. All right, Mindy, you ready for this? All right. The numbers trading hours are 9:30 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. That number right here, 284.71, was the last trade today for normal business hours. Now they have what's called aftermarket hours. That's what it's doing right now. That's aftermarket hours. 286.51. But you have to be approved for after hours trading. All these numbers stopped at 4 o'clock today. Once that bell rang, all these numbers stopped. Still trading this time of night. Is there any mobile platform better than Robinhood you recommend? Unfortunately, I've only used Robinhood. I like it. It's simple. It's easy. In the past. Yeah, we all have. Yeah, we all got to pay our dues. Oh, remember that song? Every time I look in the mirror, all these lines in my face getting clearer. The past is gone. Living life like dusk to dawn. Yep. You got to paper form. Well, you don't have to. But, I don't know, do you really want to be a leech? Aerosmith. Yeah, you're right, Aerosmith. But what they say is, everybody has their dues in life to pay. Everybody has their dues in life to pay. Steam on, you know. Love that song. That is my number one song. Because it's so damn true. Every time I look in the mirror, these lines keep getting clearer. The past is gone. You can't argue with those words. All right, so whether you like Aerosmith or not is irrelevant. You can't argue with the truth. The truth is the truth. Appreciate the wisdom. Way to go. I saw Aerosmith in 76. Yeah, I saw Steven Tyler last year. He was in the pharmacy picking up prescriptions. All right, so we're done with questions over on TikTok. Done with questions to TikTok here. Done with questions on Instagram and YouTube. But we have one YouTube channel. Always have some interesting stuff, you guys say. I think Robinhood adds a premium to their prices. I may be wrong. Yeah, Rich, you know, if you take a good look at the bid and the ask, okay, usually I just pay it. I don't quibble about the pennies. Yeah, they're going to get the pennies from me. But many times I've changed the strike price to be more favorable on my side. Every once in a while it works, but every once in a while I'm sitting there staring at it, you know, and it doesn't always do what I want it to do. So, all right, let's go over to YouTube and see what kind of craziness they have to say over there. Hey, James, have I done calls? Yes, we've already done calls. I also bought some Alcoa, waiting for the price to convert to calls. Okay, great. I hear that companies don't need to pay out dividends if the company utilizes dividends to reinvest it into some assets. All right, Stephen, what you're referring to, there's two different types of companies. Well, actually, there's three. There's private companies, which we can't invest in. And then you have two public companies. One, they'll take all the profits and put it back into the company for capital growth. They're called capital growth stocks. And then you have the other set, the other half. Well, those are dividend stock companies. They share their profits with their investors. So they will take some of the profits, put it back in the company, but they will always increase their dividends to their shareholders. Have you become a millionaire from trading? No. Got there from somewhere else. Dr. Pepper, KDP, gold has its high in January, February, and March. I don't do gold. Okay, there's no way to get weekly cash flow from gold. Hey, Victor, been doing this since the beginning of the year, as well as trading options. I must say this is the best strategy I've seen in the past 15 years. I'm up 35% and not doing this really at 100%. Victor, I'm glad it's working out for you. Way to go. All right. Kyle, you just sent me a DM. Cool. I'll take a look at it tomorrow. Hello. How can I turn the screen? I have no idea. Somebody sent me some kind of app that allows me to invert the screen on YouTube. I haven't figured it out yet. I'll figure it out eventually. What platform? Think or Swim. Using this week's TDS. Using the week of TDS, you can see how this strategy doesn't work when it takes the stock 6 months to come back from a pre-crash price. Thanks, Mike. You bought Kohl's at 22. The price is still at 10 and is only making $12 in dividends a quarter. You're absolutely right, Mike. But Mike, you're forgetting something. Okay? Yeah, I did buy Kohl's at 22. I also dollar cost averaged on Kohl's. And I also got more than 1% every single week on Kohl's for the last year. So I'm not quite sure if you understand the concept. But judging by what you're saying, you're looking at things a little bit differently. So Mike, the question I have from you, okay, let's say I bought 1,000 shares at 22. All right, so I own 1,000 shares at 22. We can agree on that, right? You still sell options despite the earnings potentials having huge volatility. Absolutely, Silver Guy. Okay, so anyway, Mike, I got 1,000 shares at 22. All right, now you have 1,000 shares at 12. Now, let me ask you this. You have 1,000 shares. I have 1,000 shares. They pay out a dividend. Who gets more, me or you? We both have 1,000 shares. I own it at 22. You own it at 12. Who gets more? Neither one of us. We get the exact same amount. So if I have 1,000 shares at 22 and you have 1,000 shares at 12, the dividend we collect is the exact same. Also, look at the premiums for Kohl's, KSS. KSS, Kohl's. All right. So the dividend for Kohl's, the premium for Kohl's, right now it's at 11.76. So at 11.76, it doesn't look like it's going to go any higher. So if I sell the 11s, I'm picking up 1%. But I'm in it at 22, so I'm only picking up 0.5%. But 0.5% is still 26% per year. All right. Now next week I'm picking up 22, which is 1% of what I'm looking at. So even though I bought it at 22 and now it's only worth 10, I didn't lose any money because I didn't sell it. I still own 1,000 shares at 22. So every 90 days, I get the exact same dividend that you get. Now, you bought yours at 12. I bought mine at 22. So I still own 1,000, which means I can get a premium on 1,000 shares every single week. Now, do I care that the price went from 22 to 12? No, I don't care. Now, isn't that weird? Because I'm not doing anything with the stock other than collecting a premium every single week. Now, you might be collecting just a dividend, but no, I collect the dividend and the premium every single week. Now, yeah, it is down. I really don't care. I have no intention of selling it. I still have 1,000 shares, no matter how you look at it. So how many shares I have doesn't change because the price goes up and down. All right, so it's all depending on how you're looking at it. So you're looking at it as a bad thing. I bought it at 22, now it's at 10. I lost $12. No, I didn't lose anything. I only lose if I agree to sell for less than what I paid, which I already said. I have no intention on ever doing that. I will take those damn things and stick them in my shirt pocket when they bury me. Kind of. Caton, what's happening? Just got here? A little late. I'm just getting ready to leave. So let me go over a few more questions if we have any. Marwan, can you show me? You asked me that question a little while ago, and I told you over an hour ago I have not done that yet. All right, so I'll probably end up doing it tomorrow or the next day. What do I think of Bitto? Okay, yeah, I don't do that one. Do I trade crypto? No, I don't. Sorry, Zarin. Steve Tucker. Lawrence, same here. For Kohl's, so I bought the matching shares at 10 and started collecting more premiums. Thank you, Stephen. Greetings from Portugal, my friend. Bruno, how are you? Back again. I invested in Equinix Can you help me understand why I am losing all the time? EQIX. I have no idea what that is. EQIX. I can't help you out with that, brother. That's not on my list at all. And it's like $1,000. It went from $1,000 down to 700, and now it's at 789. It's a monthly. I don't trade monthlies. You see, I do very methodical. So A plus B equals 1, 2, 3. Well, next is 4. See, I do things in a certain way, the same thing every single time. So I can't help you out with EQIX. It's something I would never buy. Sorry, brother. Bruno, can you see the U level? Yeah, I don't do that one either. Okay, you should make people answer the basic questions before asking about a stock. Ash, I'm going to agree with you. Okay, I am looking for a moderator for YouTube. All right, as a matter of fact, I have someone who's going to be helping me, I believe, in about a week or two. We're going to set up a remote station, so I'll have a producer who actually screens all the questions. Hopefully that'll be him. Why not pick 5 or 10 stocks you really believe in as opposed to around 50? Well, Joshua, 5 or 10 doesn't give you enough of a choice, because stocks go up. When they get to a certain point, they're just not profitable anymore, so why hold on to them? Valley Wide Rides, good evening. I'm a bro that never had the opportunity for some government aid nor family. I'm an individual auto buy. Okay. Alright, Chasing Jack, I think I'm going to trade till the first week of August and wait to see what happens on TDS Part 2. Yeah, I'm waiting on that one too. Let's do this. Alright. Brandon. In your OBS, there is a setting for flipping horizontal. Also, Constellation brands. What do I think? I have to know what the ticker symbol is. Sorry. Also, I think the market is topping, but when will it fall? Okay. Hello, sir. Would you... LD, that's funny. Listening. There you go. I'm listening. I'm listening. Hi, I have the same question as Eva. How much to get started? Okay, Judy, I'm going to give you the same question I give to everyone else. We are all different. We are all at a different age. We're all at a different point in our lives. What you're looking for, what I'm looking for, may be two totally different things. Now, I've been working since 1973. So I have more years under my belt, which means, hypothetically, I should have more money put away. So I have no idea how old you are and what you're looking to do. Are you looking to retire in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 15 years? Okay? I have no idea anything about you, Miss Judy, so I can't really give you a good answer. Andrew, to get started now with less than 850 pounds, remember that for your leverage, not your investment. Your investment is much less. I have no idea what you're talking about, Andrew, but okay. Great book, easy to read. That would be The Wall Street Money Machine by Wade Cook. Simple, easy to read. Known GameStop is $9 billion in cash. Just saying hi. No dividends offered by them. I'm long-term DCA. All right, well, it makes sense if you like GameStop. I personally don't, because they don't have any dividends. Okay? Hey, what do you prefer to smoke when you're looking at charts? Thank you, Jose. I would definitely have to say pipe, but I don't really do that while I'm working. SPX ODTE spreads are good to trade. Well, Jeannie King, it always going to depend on what you're looking to get. Okay, what are you trying to do? And it's past 11. I can't get all these questions. So, how many do we have left? Oh, I'm almost done. Okay, Thanks for learning lessons on coals. Thank you. Thanks, James. Hope you get a profitable day tomorrow. Thanks for the comment on how much to start. You're welcome, Judy. You killed it again today with all this information. Chase and Jack, thank you. We'll do MU tomorrow. Okay, I'll be here. No less, I was helping her understand. Thank you, Andrew. All right, so apparently that's all the questions. I am done. Yay! All right, so that being said, I'm going to call it a night, and we will do this again tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Okay, what do we have over here? Okay, roll. Okay, we already talked about that. All right, so you guys over here, catch you guys tomorrow morning. Out of here, and now the end is here. And so I say goodbye to all you. And now, and out of here, and out of here, and oops, wrong one. Right there. Wrong one. Huh. There it is. Right there. That's not. There it is. And now. There we go. La 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 la. Done.
Or the pilot program to get paid. Instead, here's what you're going to do. Before you post, tap add link and then scroll down to get live studio. Click on that and post. That's simple. Now, whenever someone clicks on your link and applies, you get paid. Now go ahead and click mine because I'm trying to take these kitties to Disney and then post yours. You don't need to be in the Creator Rewards program or the pilot program to get paid. Instead, here's what you're going to do. Before you post, tap add link and then scroll down to get live studio. Click on that and post. That's simple. Now whenever someone clicks on your link and applies, you get paid. Now go ahead and click mine because I'm trying to take these kitties to Disney and then post yours. You don't need to be in the Creator Rewards program or the pilot program to get paid. Instead, here's what you're going to do. Before you post, tap add link and then scroll down to get live studio. Click on that and post. That's simple. Now whenever someone clicks on your link and applies, you get paid. Now go ahead and click mine because I'm trying to take these kitties to Disney and then post yours. You don't need to be in the Creator Rewards program or the pilot program to get paid. Instead, here's what you're going to do. Before you post, tap add link and then scroll down to get live studio. Click on that and post. That's simple. Now whenever someone clicks on your